Boy, do I ever love the smell of rotting flesh in the morning. There's nothing quite like waking up in an abandoned building to the sound of groans and raspy moaning coming from every direction. Zombies shambling slowly towards their base. An army so massive yet slow they practically blot out the sun. The unlimited stamina of these mindless simple creatures matched only by their incredible hunger for violence, bloodshed, and the scrumptious gray matter hiding in between your ears. This makes them absolutely perfect global linemen. But which of the zombie-centric teams to pick up and coach? Tomb Kings for some calcium phosphate-based humor? Maybe throw in some Chaos Godhood in the mix with a plague-ridden Nerdle team. Or maybe you can have two furries and an extra layer of bed sheets. Well, after putting in careful thought and consideration, the voices in my head have finally come to a consensus. Welcome to Fumbled Guide to Blood Bowl. Necromantic horror teams are the shambling undead teams but with werewolves, and in order to accomplish this lore-wise, necromantic teams had to ditch every other player on the team with bones so the wolves wouldn't be tempted to chase them like dogs. This means no skeletons, no whites, no mummies for some reason, and vegan tofu replacements for each of those positionals. You keep the zombie linemen, which are cheaper than dirt and tougher than steel. You're probably going to have several backup zombies in reserve, which will be nothing by the time you've built up the team a bit. Your blitzers are wraiths instead of whites. Wraiths' big trade-off is that they have the no hands trait, meaning they are physically incapable of interacting with the ball in any way. However, they also start with sidestep and foul appearance in addition to block. Foul appearance is almost not worth mentioning with how rarely it makes a difference, but sidestep is juicy, especially when you level those guys up. Overall, this is one of the worst trade deals in the history of trade deals, but with interesting potential. You still have ghoul runners, albeit you can only have 2 of them for some reason instead of 4, and they're still more fragile than Glass Joe. They do have the dodge, however, which they will absolutely need to use in order to stay alive. Unalive? Undead alive? I don't know. As the only players in your team without regeneration and without your team having access to an apothecary, ghouls will need to be replaced often unless you suffer the Tomb King effect having no dedicated ball carrier for a game. Flesh golems are the blockers you get instead of mummies, and yes, having 1 less point of strength is a huge trade down. And considering the only thing you get in turn is 1 extra point of movement, a mediocre tank skill, and the worst sidestep, flesh golems become my least favorite part of this team. Granted, if you have to say one nice thing about them, you can set up flesh golems in the corners of your cage around your ball carrier, and they are not moving from that spot, which is a pretty neat trick. And finally, we have the stars of the team, the werewolves. Werewolves are extremely flexible with how they can be used. Average agility and access to agility skill and level up in addition to general means they can be built as ball carriers. Claws means they can be built as killer blitzers. 8 whole points of movement allowance plus frenzy means that nobody is safe near the edge of the pitch, and let's like the idea of angry fans beating them to death with metal pipes. Because every player on this team is overpriced, you will not be able to start with every positional possible for your team. Which sucks because this is one of the few teams where you do want every non-line positional available. And because rerolls are just as expensive, believe me, you will need those rerolls. You are forced to make compromises and choose which positional you think you'll need the least right away. Personally, I hate the wannabe Frankenstein monsters, so I ditch those, but you do have free will, unlike the zombies on your command, so do whatever you like most. As for level ups, you're obviously going to want to get blocked first so you don't start with it already. Ghouls getting blocked makes them exceptionally difficult to take down when combined with dodge. Flesh golems need it to punch more. Wraiths start with block, which means they have much more options, and some of them are really interesting, and oh wait, they start with sidestep, so we should get guard on them ASAP. Guard combined with sidestep means they are essentially a put an unstoppable assist anywhere on the board during your opponent's turn card. As for werewolves, yeah, obviously you get the blotch combo like with ghouls. Personally, I like the 2 alternative blitzers. The ball stacker with wrestle, tackle, and or strip ball, then the murder blitzer where we save enough SPP to get mighty blow to combo with claws and chew through enemy armor like a bag of lace chips. Suck it, dwarf mains. Overall, the Necromantic team are a more agile version of Undead team, but they still aren't a true dash team, which is why they are lower tier than Shambling Undead. Personally, I think Necromancy is more fun because there's less bone puns involved.